Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully complete our order, right? But here, after that complete that order, you can see our check in our cart area, our all that cart product is visible. So here we have to make our purchase as a true, and also we have to make our order as a true, right? So here in our models, if you go to our app order models, into the order area, that is our order. So we have to make the things as a true, and also we have to make our cart order. So that means our purchase, we have to make that things as a true. So here we have to defining it. So for the reasons here, we have to create one of the another function. So it will be also as a locking required. So better I want to do that to copy it, and now after that, okay, after this here I want to create another function. So it will be locking required, and then I define that function name as a purchase. Okay, I just name it as a purchase. So into the purchase area, I want to pass another request. So that means the request, and also here we have to pass our this valid ID. Okay, that is valid ID, and also here we have to pass our this transaction ID because it should be checked, right? With this it should be checked this order is already completed or not. So for the reasons here we have to pass our valid ID and the transaction ID, and here after this I want to return one of the HTTP response. That means HTTP response to redirect with the reverse, and here with the reverse I want to pass it to our home page. Okay, so here in our app shop, into the app shop I want to pass our home directory, and here we pass our valid ID and the transaction ID. So with this valid ID we have to make our purchase as a true, and also we have to make our order as a true, right? So for the reasons here we have to also pass it. We have to pass it after that successful. That means when this will be as a successful. So after this I want to make the things as a return. So here, because here we have to pass it, that means this order is already purchase is completed, so we have to pass that information. So here I define as a return, and then HTTP response redirect. Here I want to pass that reverse. So with this reverse here I want to pass one of the page. That means if you go to our, we don't need this, there is an app order, there is our app payment, is the URL. So here for our purchase page I want to create another URL. So I just simply copy it and I just simply paste it. So here we have to define one of the URL. So I just name it as a purchase. Okay, I just name it as a purchase, and then also here we have to pass our two of these things. Here we have to pass our valid ID, and also we have to pass our transaction ID. So I just simply copy it. So here after this I just simply pass our valid ID, and also we have to pass our transaction ID. So I just simply define the transaction ID. Okay, sorry, here we have to define that transaction ID. And then in our view I have already created one of the function. So I have created the function name as a purchase. So here I name it as a purchase, and I just name that URL as a purchase. Okay friend, I think you can well understand about it. And now here we have to pass that URL. So that is our app payment and then our purchase. So here, so into the reverse area I define our app payment, and after that is I have defined that path name as a purchase. So here I just simply define that purchase, and also after that here we have to add our valid ID and the transaction ID. So here after this here we have to pass our key arguments. So that means the KWARGS, right? So with these key arguments here I want to pass both of this. One will be our valid ID. So valid ID we have to pass. So I just simply pass it, and also we have to pass our transaction ID. That means that is actually our transaction ID. So I just simply pass our transaction ID. Okay, so with this we can actually understand that product is totally completed. That with this transaction ID we have to make our all that purchase field and the order field as a true. So here I send both of this. Okay, and after that I just put one of the comma, then our failed status, and then return status. So now here we have to work. So for doing this, first of all we have to define our order. So here I define our orders query. So with this orders query, first of all I want to get all the data from our orders. Okay, that means our order class, all that objects. So to the objects area, I want to filter it. Our user will be our requested user, and also here our order. You can see if you go to our model, in our app order, into the app order, if you go to that model, so here you can see that is actually our order. So to the order area, so that is actually our order as a false. So now first of all I want to take it, that means our ordered by default I have set as a false, so I just simply define as a false. So now we have to actually change it. So here first of all we have to convert it, right? So I just take as a order, and with this order I want to convert our object, that means the 0 object. So here I just simply define our 0 object. Okay, and after that we have to check it. After that we have to check our order, that means our order ID. So order ID I just simply define it will be our transaction ID, that means that is our transaction ID. So I just simply defining it, and also after that the order. So with this order, our ordered this field. So here I want to make the things right now as a true. Okay, so I just simply defining it as a true on here. And after this also we have to define our order, and with this order our order ID. Okay, with this order our order ID, it should be as a order ID. So that is our order ID, and here with this order we have to define our payment. Okay, payment, and then our payment ID. Payment ID I want to make the things that will be our this valid. Okay, that means the valid ID I just simply defining it. So here if you go to our model, into the model here you can see that is actually our payment ID field, and that is our order ID field. So they have also two of this field ID. So here I define two of this field ID on here. So now after that I want to save this our order. So I just simply define as order will be save again. So I just simply define as a save. Save. So I just simply save it. Okay, and also we have to do the same things for our cart. So cause in our, if you go to that cart, into the cart area, you can see that have also that is our purchase as a default as a false. So now we have to make our this purchase field as a true. So now we have to do, first of all, that is our save. So here after that I name it as a cart item, cart underscore items, and here I define our cart model. So make that sure you add that your cart class. Yeah, you can see there is a model. I have already import our order and the cart. So now we can actually use it. So here with this cart I want to get all that our object, that means the objects data, and then with these objects I define as a filter. Okay, the filter, and into the filter area user will be our requested user, and also here our purchased, right, that is a purchased. Yeah, that is actually the purchase as a false. So now I want to define as a purchase by default that was actually the false. So I just simply define as a false. So now we have to change it. So I just define another for and loop, and I just name it with the item, and in our this cart. So here I define that one of the for loop, and here I define our cart item. So into the cart item area I want to do with this item. Okay, with this item I want to change it. With this item I want to change our field name. There's a purchase field name that before that was actually the false. So now I want to change it and make the things as a true. So with this item our purchase will be now as a true. So I just simply define as a true. Okay, and then I want to add this item and save this item. So I just simply define as item and then save. I just simply save this item. Perfect. So friend, that's all you have to do. Okay, so that's all you have to do. Now if you check it, like here I just click as a save all, see if everything okay, it should be work. So first of all I want to check our server. So here you can see it's now showing some of the error in our purchase. Here I didn't add any comma. So you can see that I didn't add any comma, so that is a 93. It's also showing as a 93. So make that sure you add one of the comma on here. Now click as a save all. Yeah, everything is running well. So now go here, and now I just refresh it. Now go to our process to checkout, make a payment. Now go to mobile banking, Rocket. Now I also have the failed, so I also have defined that condition. When it will be failed, then it will be show our this message, right? So now first of all I want to check it as a success. So here it's type object order has no attribute object. You can see spelling mistake here should be obviously as a objects. So maybe in our view, so that is our object. You can see I just simply define as object. It will be as objects, right? So that is a silly mistake. Click as a save all. Now go back. Now refresh it. I just refresh it, click as a make payment. So that is appropriate our data. Go to that mobile banking, select this one, make as a success. Yes, you can see it's now perfectly now showing our your payment completed successful, and also our two of this field. You can see our two of this field is now become true. So for the reasons, you can see our card is now totally empty. If you go to our cart, you can see you don't have any item in your cart. That means our card is now totally empty. So now I want to add another one. Like I just take this product as a add to cart. I want to take this product as add to cart. I also want to take this product as add to cart. Okay. Now go to our cart. So that is our 60 is total amount. So now I want to purchase this one. Click as a process to checkout. Everything is perfect. Go to our make payment, and you can see it's now perfectly visible our this amount. And go to our mobile banking, click as a Rocket, and now I make the things as a success. Yeah, you can see it's now perfectly showing a payment complete successfully, and also it's become empty, right? So here we successfully complete our that position. And also, as I told you, if you want to add to cart, if you go to our cart, if you go to the process, make a payment, and they have also another option for the failed. I also want to check it, like that is actually the failed. So now if you click as a failed, yes, you can see it's now showing as a your payment failed, please try again. And here if you go, and automatically it will be redirected to our home page after that 5 seconds. Okay, so that is actually our another validation I have defined. When that our status will be as a failed, then it will be show our this message. That means our this else if is also perfectly now working, right friend? So here I purchased some of the product. Better I take another one. So I just take another one, go to our cart. So they have the two product. Go to that process checkout, make a payment. So now there is actually 75. Click as a mobile banking. This one, click as a success. Yeah, it's now perfectly successful, and our card is also empty. So here I successfully complete our payment portions. So now I want to visible all that our orders in our order list area. Okay, here I have already created one of the page as an order. So in particular that page area I want to visible it. So how can do that work? In our next video I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.